So I started my business in the beginning from university. It was just an idea, basically.
Well, the business idea was initially dreamt up, if you like, about 7 months ago.
I'm literally at the beginning stages.
It's been around about 3 months now since we've been trading and receiving orders, and we've had about 20 orders in the last 3 months.
So I'm right at the transition between turning my portfolio and my new set of skills and experience into a paying business entity.
Getting from an idea to an actual business was the main struggle.
It's been quite so difficult because I wasn't quite sure how to launch myself and also to gain people's confidence.
I've thought about my customers a lot. I think they're the most fundamental thing to starting a business.
At the moment, we've done a lot of research into the customers that we're going to have.
What's really important is understanding their needs, their demands and their decision-making process.
Where do you feel that certain organisations are falling short, and what would you like to see?
You should basically work out those two things in as much detail as you can.
It's basically trying to really understand that they've got a need there, and we're here to provide that need, really.
So I think about the customer a lot, and throughout the process I keep re-evaluating and learning more as I go along.
Money is always a big issue for a startup business.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to actually sort of get your own business up and running and work at the same time.
I am working part-time, and I'm making sure that when I am working, I'm looking at the hours I'm doing and thinking how much is something going to cost for my business.
The way that I'm going to finance my business is really through my own personal savings.
I've put some savings aside the last couple of years.
But also it's actually quite a low overhead operation. Being a design consultancy, I could literally run that out of my room.
I'm sort of doing it at home. I haven't had the hassle or the expenditure of renting property. For example, I'm renting a premises like an industrial estate or something like that.
So there's not a huge amount of overhead there because I'm able to work myself from my office, which is a spare room at home. So it's just a case of keeping the finances tight and minimal at the moment.
To secure funding, I think is always far easier once you've actually got a commodity.
Once I've actually proved myself, proved that my service is needed amongst the student community, then I think large organisations will be happy to fund.
I think people have a lot more confidence in actual figures and a finite sale rather than an idea or a concept of what you're wanting to do.
The proof that I've gone out there and done my research and my homework on things.
I think it's quite important to stay on top of things.
You need to keep an awful lot of records for HMRC because they can potentially do random checks on you.
I realised early on that my strength isn't in administration.
Comes kind of naturally to me, to be honest, because I work part-time in an admin role, so I'm able to see the other side of the coin as well as being a customer.
So I spoke to a few people. I met a friend who's very organised, and we started working together. She's now doing the administration, so when I have a big bold idea, she's the one that gets it onto paper.
Writing a business plan is important to any business and process, especially if you're looking for investment.
If you want to get a loan or bank loan, you really need to have a business plan that is professional and accurate.
You need to be looking at your startup, your costs, how much are you going to spend towards the business, your competitors. You have to do your research.
Put in as much research as you can and present that information clearly and concisely to show what you're about and what your business is about.
I didn't write a formal business plan, but I do have a structure that I use and I update as I go along.
I think it's also important to know who you're going to give the business plan to, whether it's a venture capitalist or an angel or bank manager or just your friends and family.
I know a little bit about taxes. I'm familiar with income tax for myself personally.
I'm not planning on paying myself a salary just yet, so in terms of income tax and national insurance, I've not really looked into that side of things.
I think really to get it all fixed in my head, I just actually need to talk to a physical person.
I have got a bookkeeper in place as well who keeps me up to speed.
I just rang up a couple of accountants for an initial meeting. They're more than happy to talk to me, no charge or anything.
My biggest challenge over the coming 12 months will be to actually remain focused on the projects that are in front of me.
When you're a new startup company, people don't know who you are, so the biggest challenge is really getting the name out there.
I think once we're able to get that following, we'll be able to expand rapidly.
My biggest challenge over the next 12 months is probably building bigger and better relationships with my suppliers.
Finding the right funding and the right investment and the right people to make my business prosper.
I'm actually going to learn to say no and actually work on projects that are going to make a return.
I thought it would always be quite easy to keep myself motivated because I really love what I do.
I get quite motivated by sales, quite enjoy the buzz of new business, and I like talking to people and meeting people. And
it's not really a question of how I'm going to motivate myself because I'm doing something that speaks to my heart and it's something I've wanted to do for a number of years.
My motivation really comes from my ambition, first of all, but that's supported then by my family and my friends.
I think the biggest struggle about trying to stay motivated is when you get influenced by other people. A lot of people don't know how hard it is to run a business, and sometimes they might say, oh, are you sure you really want to do that, and kind of encourage you to go back into regular employment. But once you're focused and you know why you're doing it, it's very easy to keep motivated and keep going.